The Ariel Castro kidnappings are among the most shocking and heartbreaking crimes in recent history. For over a decade, three young women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus, were held captive in a Cleveland, Ohio, home, enduring unimaginable abuse at the hands of a man who concealed his double life from the world. The story of their abduction, survival, and eventual escape is a testament to human resilience and the dark reality of what can happen behind closed doors. In this episode, we'll examine the lives of the victims, the crimes committed by Ariel Castro, and the extraordinary escape that brought their ordeal to an end. Our story begins in Cleveland, Ohio, in the early 2000s. Ariel Castro, a local bus driver, used his familiarity with the neighborhood and his charismatic facade to lure his victims. Michelle Knight was the first to be abducted in August 2002. At 21 years old, she was on her way to a court appointment regarding her son when Castro offered her a ride. She accepted, thinking he was a friend of her family. Instead, Castro took her to his home at 2207 Seymour Avenue, where he locked her in a room and began a decade-long nightmare of abuse. In April 2003, Castro abducted Amanda Berry, a 16-year-old who was walking home from her job at a local Burger King. She disappeared the day before her 17th birthday. Castro lured her into his car by offering her a ride home. A year later, in April 2004, 14-year-old Gina DeJesus vanished while walking home from school. She was friends with Castro's daughter, which he used to his advantage, convincing Gina to get into his car. With all three women now in captivity, Castro began constructing a secret world within his home, isolating them from each other and the outside world. His ability to maintain this facade for so long is as chilling as the crimes themselves. For over a decade, Castro kept the women imprisoned in his home, subjecting them to physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. He chained them in darkened rooms, beat them, and deprived them of basic necessities. Each woman endured unimaginable suffering. Michelle Knight, who was in captivity the longest, later revealed that she became pregnant multiple times, but was forced to miscarry after Castro beat her. Amanda Berry gave birth to a daughter, Jocelyn, while in captivity, a child who became a light of hope for the women despite their horrific circumstances. The house at 2207 Seymour Avenue was fortified to keep the women hidden. Windows were boarded up, doors were padlocked, and loud music was played to mask any sounds of distress. Despite living in close quarters, the women were often kept apart, with limited contact even among themselves. Remarkably, despite the abuse and isolation, they found ways to survive. They developed routines, formed bonds, and held on to hope that one day they might escape. Their resilience is a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit. While Castro held three women captive in his home, he maintained a facade of normalcy in the outside world. To his neighbors, he appeared to be a quiet, unremarkable man. He even played bass guitar in a local band and socialized with friends and family. What's even more disturbing is how close Castro was to the families of his victims. He attended vigils for Gina DeJesus, offered condolences, and inserted himself into conversations about her disappearance. His ability to lead this double life without raising suspicion is a chilling reminder of how easily evil can hide in plain sight. Castro's actions were methodical and deliberate. He controlled every aspect of the women's lives, using fear and manipulation to keep them compliant. Yet, he underestimated their resilience and determination to one day break free. On May 6, 2013, over a decade after their abductions, the women's ordeal finally came to an end. Amanda Berry managed to escape with the help of a neighbor, Charles Ramsey, who heard her cries for help. That day, Castro had left the house, and Amanda noticed that one of the doors was unlocked. Taking a chance, she ran to the door and began screaming for help. Ramsey, who was nearby, came to her aid and helped her kick through the door. Amanda called 911, her voice trembling as she told the operator, "Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been missing for 10 years. I'm free now." Police arrived within minutes and rescued Gina DeJesus and Michelle Knight. The world was shocked as the details of their captivity emerged. The women's resilience and courage were celebrated, but the trauma they endured was unimaginable. Their escape marked the end of Castro's reign of terror and the beginning of their journey toward healing. Ariel Castro was arrested the same day the women were rescued. The investigation revealed the extent of his crimes, shocking even seasoned law enforcement officials. In July 2013, Castro pleaded guilty to 937 charges, including kidnapping, rape, and aggravated murder. As part of a plea deal, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 1,000 years. But Castro's time in prison was short-lived. On September 3, 2013, just a month into his sentence, he was found dead in his cell from an apparent suicide. His death brought an end to his story, but for the survivors, the process of healing was only beginning. Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus have since shared their stories with the world. Their courage has inspired countless others, turning their survival into a message of hope and resilience. The Ariel Castro kidnappings were a horrific chapter in true crime history, but they are also a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus endured years of unimaginable suffering, yet they found a way to survive and reclaim their lives. Their story reminds us of the importance of vigilance, the power of resilience, and the enduring need to support survivors of trauma. Thank you for joining me in exploring this harrowing story. If you found this deep dive compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of true crime and human survival.